What's up, guys? It's your boy Santos the Destroyer. I'm back at y'all with another What If. What if Naruto had the eight and nine tails part two? A quick recap from last time. We just ended off with the first round of the tuning exams, in which we have a new participant, Haku, who has now discovered a new purpose in life. Will now just basically be a leaf shinobi and help further their agenda. So we cut back to the second round of the exam where all goes as canon except Haku's out there just bodying some fodder team that we don't even need to really care about. So Team 7 just makes that password. Team 8 still has their encounter with Gaara. And basically everything goes the same until we get to the fight with Orochimaru. Now, since during this fight, Sasuke would get bodied, Naruto would get bodied, but Naruto would exhibit three types of chakra: his own chakra, that of the nine tails, and that of the eight tails. This would intrigue Orochimaru to an extreme level. I believe he would try and put the curse on Naruto, only for it to just burn off, as either the Kyuubi or Gyuki would just eliminate Orochimaru from Naruto's body. Sasuke would still get the curse mark, resulting in Sakura having to take care of them, just defend herself against Team Dosu, which she doesn't until Rock Lee comes and saves her. But then he gets bodied as well. And then Ino Shikacho comes, and Naruto and Sasuke wake up. Basically, bloodlust and menace just radiating from them during this time. Sakura just cowers back in fear, and then they just calm down. Naruto calms Sasuke down because Sasuke is much more bloodthirsty than he is at that immediate moment. But now we carry on. Naruto gets caught in the Genjutsu trap because his Genjutsu is horrible because he's a Jinchuriki, if not one but two-tailed beasts. So they have to fight Team Oboro until they finally take their scroll with Kabuto's help and then get to the tower just in the nick of time as Hiruzen's about to call time. There's still too many people, so the preliminaries are still in need. As Haku's there, just to say some fodder teammate of Kabuto, and Kabuto's teammates doesn't make it. Kabuto's one of his other teammates just make it. Haku takes their place, and the tuning exams go the same. Basically, Naruto farts on Kiba's face. Rock Lee gets his bone shattered by Gaara, and now stage is set for the finals. So now, I believe there's like extra person. I think it was 9 finalists in the original canon. Now there's 10 with the addition of Haku. Let's just say, since Haku's skills have been acknowledged as well above Chunin, maybe even close to Jonin level, let's just say he gets some sort of buy, or let's just say an easier route since skills are already up to par. So now we have the 1 month training gap, which I believe Jiraiya would give Naruto summoning. That's just a no-brainer. He got it in canon, and it really helped his chakra control. But I think Jiraiya would also just pressure working on Naruto's chakra control so much that he'd be able to access portions from the 8 and 9 tails respectively, and would just work on later that month trying to being able to activate them simultaneously at the same time. But it'd be really difficult, and let's just say Naruto's only able to get a tail's worth at each time. Any more would be dangerous and maybe even fatal for him at this point, at least in his development. Now we get to the Chunin exam finals. This highly anticipated finals that is happening right now. It's super anticipated because you have Gaara, Sasuke, Naruto, Nedji isn't even anticipated. So it goes off of canon. Sasuke's late, just like in canon. Haku's in the stands watching, not in the stands, but in that ledge area that the spectators were allowed to watch in. Kankuro still pulls out. That does make Shino suspicious, but then the proctor would say he'd have to fight Haku, which I think would ease his suspicion slightly, but I think Shino would still someone be on edge given how intellectual he is. So Naruto and Nedji fight. This is a lot tougher match for Nedji than in canon, as Naruto has full Kurama and full 8 tails, full Gyuki. So Naruto's basically just assaulting Nedji with hundreds of shadow clones at once, and Nedji at this point really has no counter to it. I mean, you could say he just spams rotation, but Neji's chakra with rotation is finite. Naruto can spam shadow clones for hours, hundreds for hours if he really needed to. So Neji just gets outnumbered and just pressured, and he eventually gets uppercutted like he did in canon. And Naruto has his talk no jutsu with him because everything in the preliminaries still happened the same. So Neji still almost killed Hinata. So as we move down the matches, Shakomar versus Tamari win still happens. Shakomar still gives up. Gar versus Sasuke happens. Konoha Crush happens. And Gar's failed transformation because Sasuke jabbed a Chidori in his arm still occurs all the same. So they go off to fight the Sand Ninja, Sasuke fights Gaara, gets bodied, then Naruto's there. But I feel like we should talk about the other matches that happen as well. So, for example, that Shino fights Conquerors like in canon. Shino nearly dies like he did in canon, but he doesn't because he gets saved at the last second. He gets saved at the last second by his father, and well, Tamari fights Haku. Haku, I believe, which is in this instance, which is body Tamari because Haku has such a more diverse arsenal of jutsu and he's faster. And just like Tamari, his chakra control and his skills are just overall just well above Chunin level, maybe even nearing Jonin level in some places. So Haku, I believe, I wouldn't say bodies Tamari, but would defeat her with easy to light to medium difficulty at most, because we can't really assume the time skip between when she learned her summoning dance and when she didn't. Because between the tuning exams and Sasuke retrieval was a bit iffy in terms of time. So let's just say she doesn't have her summoning dance. Haku defeats her with easy difficulty, and then they go on to see that the fight between Gaara and Naruto is already well underway. Naruto has around maybe 3,000 clones right now, just spam hitting Gaara. Gaara just literally backed into a corner, has no choice but to use perfect possession and calls upon the power of Shukaku. I mean, as a resulting Naruto, they just summons Gamabunta, Chief Toad, and then transforms him into the Nine Tails so he can get better grip, just like in canon. Naruto goes up and attacks Gaara like he did in canon. Except when the sand goes into crush Naruto, Naruto would just be emitting such a dense chakra of combination of the 8 tails and 9 tails that I don't think the sand would even touch him, because the chakra would just be so dense and ominous, because it's stated many times that the Nine Tails chakra was more dense than all of the other tailed beasts. And if you saw in part 1 when I explained my scaling, you'd have the chakra of Shukaku at a 1, and then the combined chakra of Gyuki and Kurama at a 640. That's just according to my scale, because it says the one tail's chakra takes 2 of the one tails equal to 2 tails, and on and on and on. So Naruto still gives Gaara the headbutt. That all happens. Naruto punches Gaara, second canon. Talk no jutsu. Third Hokage still dies, which is extremely tragic, which means that Itachi and Kisame would have to go check on the village, which would directly lead to Itachi, Tsukuyomi, both Kakashi and Sasuke, putting them into a comatose state, which would indirectly lead to the search for Tsunade to begin. And right now, the search for Tsunade would be Jiraiya and Naruto would go off to find Tsunade, and they would find her like drinking her life away in a bar, some bar somewhere. I don't remember to be specific, but they find her drinking her life away in a bar. Tsunade would still trash the Hokage's name, trash the Hokage's legacy, even when Jiraiya reached out to her, like, oh, you must be a 5th Hokage, you must at least come back to a leaf. She said, never come back to a leaf, spit in the Hokage's name, and that just really rubbed Naruto the wrong way. They have their showdown. Tsunade splits the ground with her one finger, and all that just mess happens and whatnot. And then she makes the bet. She proposes the bet to Naruto that he wish he wouldn't learn the Rasengan within a week, and Naruto, being Naruto, of course, takes the bet. Except this, in this situation, it'd be a lot harder for him to be able to do anything since he has two-tailed beasts and the full power. So his chakra control would be even worse, and he'd try to learn all the tips from Jiraiya in his spare time, but Jiraiya wouldn't really have that much spare time because he'd be with his women all the time, and and then at the same time, so now he's being approached by Orochimaru. And that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. If you like, share, and subscribe, always comment. I love to have discussions. And that's Santos the Destroyer, and I'm out.